You were tested without being told you were being tested. That is the first truth you must understand. In life, the most important examinations are never announced. There is no countdown, no instruction manual, no clear moment where someone says, "Now begins the trial." Instead, the test disguises itself as ordinary days, repetitive struggles, quiet disappointments, and long stretches of silence. You wake up, you do what must be done, and you assume this is simply life. But beneath the surface, something deeper is happening. You are being observed by existence itself, not in judgment, but in recognition. When God says, "Congratulations," it does not mean fireworks, applause, or reward. It means you endured. It means you remained standing when no one would have blamed you for sitting down. It means you carried weight that others never saw, and you did it without demanding understanding. This is why the message arrives quietly. Loud celebrations are for the ego. Silent acknowledgement is for the soul. Most people believe tests are about talent or intelligence. They are mistaken. The real test is about consistency when motivation disappears. It is about character when no one is watching. It is about restraint when temptation feels justified. You were tested in moments when it would have been easy to compromise your values, just a little. You were tested when the shortcut whispered to you, when the lie looked harmless, when giving up felt reasonable. And each time, even when you stumbled, something in you refused to fully surrender. There were days when you felt unseen. Days when you wondered if your effort mattered at all. Days when you questioned whether anyone would ever recognize the discipline you were building in silence. Those days were not meaningless. They were the core of the test. In Shaolin teaching, we say that strength built in comfort is unreliable. Only strength built in discomfort can be trusted. You were placed in situations that did not reward you immediately. You were forced to act correctly without applause. This is how integrity is formed. You were tested in loneliness, not the dramatic kind, but the quiet loneliness where conversations feel shallow and connections feel distant. Where you are surrounded by people yet feel misunderstood. Loneliness is not meant to break you. It is meant to strip you. It removes dependency. It forces you to sit with yourself, to confront your thoughts, your fears, your impatience. Many run from this state. They distract themselves, numb themselves, or attach themselves to anything that will silence the discomfort. You stayed. You endured the silence. You listened to it. That alone shows maturity. You were tested in delay. Promises took longer than expected. Efforts did not immediately convert into results. Progress felt invisible. Delay is a powerful filter. It separates those who are committed to growth from those who are addicted to outcomes. When results are slow, the ego becomes restless. It starts bargaining. It asks, "Why am I doing this if nothing is happening?" You continued anyway. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not confidently, but you continued. That persistence is rare. You were tested in restraint. Opportunities appeared that looked beneficial on the surface, but felt wrong internally. Moments arose where reacting emotionally would have felt satisfying. Anger would have been understandable. Revenge would have felt justified. Quitting would have been accepted. But something inside you chose control over impulse. This is not weakness. This is mastery in its earliest form. Anyone can react. Few can restrain themselves when emotions demand expression. You were tested in faith, not religious faith, but faith in process. Faith that effort accumulates even when you cannot see it. Faith that discipline shapes you long before it changes your circumstances. Faith that becoming the right person matters more than arriving at the right destination. This kind of faith is difficult because it offers no immediate proof. It demands patience without reassurance. Many abandon it. You did not. You were tested when you were misunderstood, when your silence was interpreted as distance, when your discipline was interpreted as coldness, when your boundaries were interpreted as pride. It is painful to be misread, especially when you are making sincere effort to improve. Yet you learned an important lesson. Not everyone is meant to understand your path. Explanation is exhausting. Consistency is clearer than words. You chose to let your actions speak over time. You were tested in moments of weakness, when your body was tired and your mind was heavy, when even small tasks felt overwhelming, when doubts crept in quietly, asking if all this effort was worth it. Weakness is not failure. Weakness reveals what remains when strength is gone, and what remained in you was resolve. Even when you slowed down, you did not turn around. God's tests are subtle because they are designed to reveal who you are, not who you pretend to be. If the test were obvious, you would perform, you would act for approval. But when the test feels like life itself, your true nature emerges. Your habits, your choices, your reactions under pressure all speak louder than intentions. What you showed was not perfection, but sincerity. Not flawlessness, but perseverance. The congratulations you receive now is not a conclusion. It is a recognition that you are capable of carrying more. In the Shaolin path, only those who endure the early hardships without complaint are given greater responsibility. Comfort weakens awareness. Ease dulls discipline. You were kept in difficulty because difficulty was shaping you into someone dependable. Understand this clearly. Passing the test does not mean you will no longer struggle. It means your struggles will have meaning. It means the weight you carry will build strength rather than resentment. It means you are learning to move forward without constant reassurance. This is the foundation of inner power. Many people want signs. They want confirmation before commitment. They want guarantees before effort. Life does not work that way. You committed without guarantees. You worked without applause. You waited without certainty. That is why this message finds you now. Not to excite you, but to steady you. Congratulations means you did not abandon yourself. Even in moments where you were unsure, you did not completely betray your inner values. You may have doubted your path, but you did not fully leave it. That loyalty to your own growth is rare. It cannot be taught. It can only be tested. Now understand the responsibility that comes with this. Having passed a silent test means you must continue to live with awareness. You cannot return to unconscious behavior. You cannot pretend you did not learn what you learned. The discipline you built must now be maintained, not occasionally, but consistently. This is the real challenge. Anyone can endure temporarily. Few can remain steady over time. This is why the message does not celebrate loudly. Celebration invites complacency. Recognition invites clarity. You are being told quietly that you are capable, that you are stronger than you once believed, that your endurance has not gone unnoticed. Do not let this acknowledgement inflate your ego. Let it deepen your humility. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it remind you that the path you are on is correct, even when it feels difficult. Especially when it feels difficult. You passed a silent test, not because you were perfect, but because you were honest in your effort. Because you stayed when leaving would have been easier. Because you chose growth over comfort more times than anyone saw. That is why the message says congratulations. And that is why it arrives without noise. What you are experiencing now is not a sudden change brought by a date on the calendar. It is the result of an internal shift that has been slowly forming within you for a long time. Cycles do not end because time passes. They end because awareness arrives. Many people move from year to year carrying the same patterns, the same wounds, the same reactions, only dressed in new circumstances. You are different now. Something inside you has closed a door that once remained open no matter how much pain passed through it. An old cycle is not just a situation. It is a way of thinking. It is the habit of reacting the same way, choosing the same type of struggle, repeating the same emotional posture toward life. You lived inside certain loops for a long time. You tried harder. You waited longer. You hoped more. And slowly, quietly, something changed. Not outside. Inside, the exhaustion was not physical. It was spiritual. You reached a point where continuing the same way no longer felt possible. That moment was not weakness. That moment was wisdom arriving. When a cycle ends, it does not explode, it dissolves. One day you simply do not have the same energy to argue, to chase, to explain, to tolerate what once felt normal. This is how growth looks. It is subtle. Others may not notice it immediately, but you feel it deeply. You feel less reactive, less desperate, less attached to outcomes that once controlled your mood. This is not indifference. This is detachment with awareness. In the Shaolin path, we are taught that repetition without reflection is bondage. Reflection without action is illusion. You have done both. You reflected, painfully, honestly. You saw patterns in your life that kept returning because you kept responding the same way. You saw where you were leaking energy, where you were giving too much to things that did not return nourishment, where you were holding on to pain because letting go felt like failure. That realization was the turning point. Ending a cycle often feels like loss at first. Even unhealthy patterns feel familiar. They give a strange sense of identity. When they begin to fall away, there is emptiness, silence, uncertainty. Many people panic at this stage. They rush to fill the space with noise, with distractions, with old habits wearing new names. You resisted that urge. You allowed the emptiness to exist. That space is sacred. It is where new direction is born. You are no longer the same person who entered those old struggles. You have learned discernment. You recognize warning signs earlier. You no longer romanticize suffering the way you once did. You understand now that endurance is valuable, but endurance without wisdom becomes self-punishment. This understanding marks the end of a cycle that was built on proving yourself through pain. Some cycles end because you finally forgive. Others end because you finally stop forgiving what continues to wound you. Both require strength. Forgiveness is not about allowing harm to continue. It is about releasing yourself from carrying poison in the hope that someone else will change. You have learned where compassion must be balanced with boundaries. That lesson alone closes many doors permanently. You may notice that certain people no longer resonate with you. Conversations feel repetitive. Dynamics feel heavy. This is not arrogance. It is alignment shifting. When your inner frequency changes, what once matched it no longer fits. Holding on would require you to shrink again. And shrinking is no longer an option for you. You have tasted self-respect. Once that happens, returning to self, betrayal becomes painful. The end of a cycle often comes with grief, even when the cycle was harmful. Grief for time invested. Grief for hopes that will never materialize in the way you imagined. Grief for versions of yourself that tried their best with limited awareness. Allow that grief. Do not rush to replace it with forced positivity. In Shaolin discipline, we honor endings because they make clarity possible. Only when something ends can energy be redirected with precision. You are not starting over from nothing. You are starting over from experience. This is a crucial distinction. The lessons you learned remain with you. The strength you built remains in your nervous system, your posture, your silence. You are calmer now, not because life is easier, but because you are no longer fighting reality the way you used to. Acceptance has entered your behavior, not as surrender, but as strategy. Old cycles end when you stop asking the same questions. You no longer ask, "Why does this keep happening to me?" You begin to ask, "What is this teaching me about my choices?" That shift places responsibility back into your hands. Responsibility is power. Victimhood is comfort. You chose power, even though it demands accountability. You may notice that chaos no longer excites you. Drama no longer feels meaningful. Urgency without purpose no longer motivates you. This is a sign that your nervous system is healing. When the body is no longer addicted to stress, the mind becomes clearer. Decisions become simpler. You choose peace not because you are afraid of conflict, but because you value your energy. The closing of cycles is often accompanied by solitude. Not punishment, but recalibration. You need space to hear your own direction without interference. Silence sharpens intuition. Solitude strengthens self-trust. You are learning to rely less on external validation and more on internal alignment. This is not isolation. This is preparation. You might feel as if something is ending, but nothing clear has begun yet. This in-between space is uncomfortable. Many mistake it for stagnation. It is not. It is integration. Your system is reorganizing. Old identities are dissolving. New ones have not fully formed. Patience here is essential. Forcing clarity too early leads to repeating old patterns with new labels. Cycles end when you stop negotiating with what hurts you. When you stop hoping that tolerating pain will eventually turn it into love, respect, or recognition. You understand now that some lessons are learned through departure, not endurance. Walking away does not mean you failed. It means the lesson is complete. This ending is not dramatic because it is mature. You are not burning bridges. You are simply no longer walking across them. There is a quiet finality in that. No announcement, no explanation tour, just changed behavior, changed standards, changed access. As these old cycles end, you may feel lighter, but also strangely exposed. The familiar armor of old habits is gone. This vulnerability is temporary. Soon it will be replaced with clarity. You are learning to stand without unnecessary defenses. This is real confidence. Understand this deeply. The ending of cycles is not a reward. It is a responsibility. You now know better. And knowing better means you must choose better. You cannot unsee what you have seen. You cannot unknow what you have learned. This awareness will demand consistency from you. That is the price of growth. What lies ahead is not a repeat of the past. It cannot be. You are not the same person entering the next phase. The mistakes you once made unconsciously will now feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is your guidance system. Trust it. 23 December does not mark the end because the year is ending. It marks the end because you are ready. Ready to stop carrying what no longer belongs to you. Ready to stop proving your worth through suffering. Ready to move forward with intention instead of habit. This is not the end of struggle. It is the end of unnecessary struggle, and that distinction changes everything. Let the old cycles close completely. Do not reopen them out of nostalgia, guilt, or fear of the unknown. The unknown is not your enemy. Repetition is. You have finished a chapter that taught you discipline, resilience, and discernment. You do not need to reread it. Carry the lesson forward and leave the weight behind. That is how cycles truly end. Praise is intoxicating, and because it is intoxicating, it is dangerous. This is why true preparation never begins with applause. When the message says congratulations, it is not inviting you to relax, to celebrate, or to believe that you have arrived. It is doing the opposite. It is informing you that the training is about to deepen. In the Shaolin way, acknowledgement is given not to inflate the ego, but to signal that greater discipline will now be required. You are not being lifted onto a stage. You are being called into a higher standard. Preparation is uncomfortable because it removes illusions. Praise makes people careless. It makes them seek repetition of the feeling rather than mastery of the craft. You are not being praised because praise would weaken your awareness. Instead, you are being sharpened. Life is tightening its expectations of you. What was once optional will now become essential. What was once tolerated will now feel heavy. This is not punishment. This is alignment. You may notice that distractions no longer satisfy you the way they once did. Activities that used to help you escape now feel empty. This is a sign that preparation has begun. Your system is rejecting what does not contribute to growth. Comfort is being reduced not to harm you, but to focus you. In training, unnecessary movement wastes energy. You are learning to conserve strength for what truly matters. Being prepared means being stripped of excuses. You are no longer allowed to blame circumstances the way you once did. Not because circumstances no longer matter, but because your capacity to respond has increased. With increased capacity comes increased responsibility. This is the unspoken contract of growth. The stronger you become, the less life will explain itself to you. You are being prepared to carry outcomes without becoming attached to them, to lead without needing recognition, to act correctly even when it costs you something. This kind of preparation is invisible from the outside. People may assume you are doing less because you speak less. They may think you are retreating, when in reality you are consolidating. Power often looks like stillness before it looks like action. In preparation, your patience is refined. You are forced to slow down not because you are incapable of speed, but because timing is now critical. Acting too early would waste effort. Acting too late would miss opportunity. You are learning to sense when movement is required and when stillness is wiser. This sensitivity cannot be taught. It is developed through restraint. Preparation also means learning to stand alone without feeling lonely. Leadership begins long before others follow. It begins the moment you can hold clarity without needing agreement. You are being trained to trust your judgment, to listen inwardly, and to remain composed when doubt circulates around you. This inner steadiness is the foundation of all authority. You may feel less emotional about things that once controlled you. This is not numbness, it is regulation. Your nervous system is adapting to carry more complexity without collapsing. Preparation strengthens the mind's ability to stay clear under pressure. When pressure arrives, you will not need to become someone else. You will simply become more of who you already are. There will be moments where you question why the road feels narrow, why options seem fewer, why life appears to be asking more from you while offering less comfort. Understand this. Preparation narrows the path so your focus does not scatter. When energy is concentrated, it becomes powerful. When it is divided, it becomes weak. You are being prepared to move without reassurance. In the past, you may have needed signs, encouragement, or confirmation from others. Now, silence will be your companion. Decisions will need to be made without applause. This is how self-trust is forged. When no one is clapping and you still act with integrity, your foundation becomes unshakable. Preparation also exposes your remaining weaknesses. This is not to shame you, but to make you honest. You will see where impatience still lives, where pride still hides, where fear still influences your choices. These are not failures. They are the final areas of refinement. A blade is sharpened by friction, not comfort. You are being prepared to serve something larger than personal desire. This does not mean sacrificing yourself. It means aligning your actions with values that extend beyond immediate gratification. Purpose stabilizes the mind. When purpose is clear, endurance becomes natural. You are learning to anchor yourself in meaning rather than mood. Praise would distract you from this work. Celebration would make you think the journey is over. It is not. The journey is becoming more precise, less chaotic, more intentional. You are entering a phase where small errors matter because impact is increasing. This is why attention to detail is now being demanded of you. Preparation is quiet because noise interferes with learning. You may feel drawn to simplify your life. Fewer commitments, fewer words, fewer explanations. This is not withdrawal. This is efficiency. You are conserving energy for moments that require full presence. There may be times when you feel misunderstood during this phase. People might not recognize the internal changes you are undergoing. Let them misunderstand. Clarity does not require consensus. Your responsibility is not to be liked, but to be aligned. Respect follows alignment naturally. You are also being prepared to endure success without losing discipline. This is a test many fail. Struggle can make people humble. Success can make them careless. Your training is ensuring that if and when things open for you, you will not abandon the practices that built you. You will remain grounded when pressure shifts from survival to performance. Preparation is about readiness, not urgency. You are not being rushed. You are being positioned. Timing matters more than speed. When the moment arrives, you will move with decisiveness, not hesitation. Until then, your task is to maintain your standards when no one is enforcing them. This phase may feel demanding, but it is also stabilizing. You are becoming reliable to yourself. You say less and do more. You promise less and deliver more. This internal consistency builds confidence that does not depend on external outcomes. Understand this clearly. You are not being praised because praise would satisfy you temporarily. You are being prepared because preparation will serve you permanently. One feeds the ego, the other builds capacity. Accept this phase without resentment. Do not look for validation in places that cannot provide it. Stay disciplined in small things. Maintain your routines. Guard your attention. Choose quality over quantity in everything you do. When the time comes, you will not need to announce your readiness. Your presence will speak for itself. And those who recognize it will not need explanation. This is what it means to be prepared, not praised. If you are here on the 31st of December, understand this quietly and without excitement. You are standing at a threshold, not a party, not a countdown, not a celebration filled with noise and distraction. A threshold is something very different. A threshold is a line that cannot be crossed unconsciously without consequence. In ancient teachings, a threshold was guarded, not decorated. You did not dance on it. You stopped. You grounded yourself. You looked at who you were before stepping forward as someone new. This is why 31 December is not a normal day. Time itself behaves differently here. It compresses. It brings everything unfinished to the surface. It asks you to face what you avoided all year. Most people misunderstand this day. They believe it is about escaping the weight of the year through entertainment. They drink, shout, laugh, scroll, and distract themselves because silence would force reflection. But the warrior does not run from reflection. The disciplined mind does not numb itself when awareness is required. When God says congratulations on this day, it is not because you reached perfection. It is because you reached the end without losing your soul. You crossed storms without becoming cruel. You carried weight without collapsing into bitterness. You learned restraint when reacting would have been easier. A threshold exists for one purpose: to decide what is allowed to pass through. Not everything from the past deserves to enter the future. Some habits must be left behind. Some identities must be released. Some pain must be honored and then set down. If you cross into the next year carrying the same anger, the same excuses, the same self-betrayal, then time changes but your life does not. That is why awareness on this day is more powerful than celebration. Awareness transforms. Celebration distracts. In Shaolin philosophy, there is a teaching that before a student is allowed to learn a new form, they must stand in stillness, not for seconds, sometimes for hours. The body trembles, the mind complains, thoughts scream for movement. But the stillness reveals truth. It exposes impatience. It shows where discipline is weak. It teaches respect for the moment. 31st of December is that stillness for your life. If you cannot stand still here, how will you move correctly tomorrow? Look back at the year honestly, not emotionally. Emotion distorts reality. Honesty clarifies it. Ask yourself where you acted with integrity and where you compromised yourself for comfort. Notice the moments you delayed action, even though you knew what needed to be done. Observe the times you blamed circumstances instead of adjusting your effort. This is not self-attack. This is self-mastery. A warrior reviews battles not to feel shame, but to refine strategy. This day demands maturity. Immature minds chase excitement. Mature minds seek alignment. Alignment between thought, action, and intention. If those three are not aligned, energy is wasted. Life feels heavy. Progress becomes slow. The threshold teaches alignment by forcing you to pause. In this pause, you realize that rushing forward without clarity only repeats cycles. Conscious movement creates new outcomes. God does not congratulate noise. God congratulates awareness. If you are seeing this message, it means something inside you is ready to close this year properly. Closure is not forgetting. Closure is understanding. When you understand, you are no longer controlled by the past. You can carry lessons without carrying wounds. This is strength. Notice how quiet the world feels in certain moments of this day. Even in chaos, there are pockets of stillness. Those moments are invitations. Sit with them. Breathe slowly. Feel your body. Let your nervous system settle. When the body calms, the mind listens. When the mind listens, truth speaks. And truth is often uncomfortable before it is liberating. A threshold is also a test of intention. Intention is different from desire. Desire says, I want a better year. Intention says, I will become the person who creates a better year. Desire is passive. Intention is active. Desire waits. Intention prepares. On this day, God is not asking what you want. God is observing what you are willing to change. Do not underestimate the power of one conscious decision made on this day. History changes through moments, not months. A single choice made with full presence can redirect an entire life. But that choice cannot come from distraction. It must come from stillness, from humility, from truth. When you cross this threshold tonight, cross it deliberately. Let go of what weakened you. Forgive what drained you. Commit to discipline where you once relied on motivation. Motivation is unstable. Discipline is reliable. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays even when you do not feel like continuing. 31st of December is not a finish line. It is a gate. Gates require permission. Permission is earned through awareness. That is why this day feels heavy to some and sacred to others. The difference is consciousness. God says congratulations because you did not disappear. You did not quit entirely. You did not surrender your future to chaos. Even if you fell many times, you stood up enough times to reach this point. That is worthy of acknowledgement. But acknowledgement is not the end. It is the beginning of responsibility. As you step forward, do not rush. Step with posture, with breath, with intention. Carry only what strengthens you. Leave behind what weakens your spirit. This is how a warrior enters a new year. Not loudly, not desperately, but grounded, aware, and ready. This is why 31 December is not a normal day. It is the moment where you decide whether time controls you, or you learn to walk with time consciously. And that decision, once made with clarity, changes everything. Survival is not a simple word. It is not a casual observation. It is a declaration. If you are here on the last day of 2025, if your eyes read these words, if your spirit has carried itself through the weight of this year, then survival is not an accident. It is proof. Proof of a strength that no one else may have seen, no one else may have applauded, but which exists nonetheless, quietly, indelibly, unshakably within you. Most people confuse survival with comfort. They think surviving is simply moving from day to day without collapse. But real survival is far deeper. It is not only enduring the external storms, the chaos of life, the unexpected blows. Real survival is enduring the internal storms as well. Fear, doubt, regret, exhaustion, and the temptation to surrender when the weight becomes unbearable. Every single day of the year brought moments when surrender would have been easier. Moments when your mind screamed at you to quit. Moments when your body protested with fatigue. Moments when your heart whispered, perhaps this is too much for you. But you did not quit. You did not let despair write the final chapter of your story. And that is the true measure of strength. Strength is not demonstrated when life is smooth. Strength is forged in the crucible of difficulty, in the silence when no one is watching, in the hours of labor when reward is invisible, and in the moments of heartbreak when your soul insists on standing. This is why God says congratulations, not because everything was easy, not because the road was straight, not because the journey was celebrated, but because you endured, because you survived. Think about the challenges that tested you this year. Recall the moments when circumstances seemed unbearable, when people disappointed you, when plans collapsed, when expectations failed. Each of these was a hammer striking the steel of your character. And every time you rose again, even if trembling, even if uncertain, you strengthened that steel. Survival is proof that the core of you is resilient. Survival is proof that your spirit is elastic, able to bend without breaking, able to absorb impact without disintegration. Many run from challenge, many attempt to numb themselves, many flee into distractions to avoid the necessary trials. But you faced them, whether consciously or unconsciously, and emerged intact. Survival is also an exercise of humility. Those who survive recognize that life is not fully under their control. No one can control every circumstance, prevent every setback, or predict every failure. But a survivor acts within what can be controlled, making choices that sustain the mind, the body, and the spirit. Survival demands presence. It requires honesty about one's limitations. It demands courage to face what cannot be changed and wisdom to act where change is possible. The survivor does not blame the year, does not curse time, and does not demand the universe be different. The survivor aligns, adapts, and persists. This is the quiet, hidden triumph that God notices. This is the achievement that does not appear in headlines or social media posts, but which carries eternal weight. Every wound, every scar, every moment of exhaustion is evidence of survival. Do not minimize them. Do not dismiss them. Do not compare them to others' struggles. The weight you carried was yours, unique, and the fact that you carried it is proof. Many live without ever facing a true test. Many pass through life lightly, untouched by the trials that refine the soul. You have been tested, and surviving those tests is evidence of a strength that cannot be fabricated. It cannot be borrowed. It cannot be seen in spectacle. It exists quietly in the choices you made in darkness, in the decisions you made when no one applauded, in the courage you summoned when your body and mind screamed for rest. Survival is not merely physical. It is emotional. It is spiritual. It is moral. It is the integrity that persisted when circumstances demanded compromise. It is the clarity that remained when fear tried to cloud judgment. It is the patience that endured delays, the persistence that carried on when results were invisible, and the faith that remained when hope seemed distant. Every aspect of your being that remained intact despite the year's turbulence is a testament to inner strength. To survive 365 days of challenges is to demonstrate a mastery over self, a resilience that mirrors the natural cycles of the universe. Storms arrive, rivers flood, trees bend with wind, yet life persists. The human spirit, when honed through survival, mirrors that unyielding persistence. Survival also requires adaptability. It is not rigid. Strength that cannot bend breaks easily. The survivor bends without breaking, shifts without losing purpose, and adapts without surrendering integrity. There were moments this year that demanded flexibility, when your carefully laid plans collapsed, when external circumstances shifted, when the predictable became unpredictable, and yet you adapted. You did not allow circumstances to define your destiny. You did not allow disappointment to dictate your spirit. Survival demanded that you maintain focus on the essence of your goals, the core of your character, and the values that sustain your soul, even while altering the surface of your actions to meet reality. Let us speak also of the invisible victories that survival entails. These are victories over fear, over regret, over self-doubt, over the temptation to take the easy route, over the desire to numb yourself. They are victories that are rarely acknowledged, rarely celebrated, but they form the foundation upon which all other successes are built. Every morning you chose to rise despite exhaustion. Every decision to keep faith when the world seemed indifferent. Every act of courage in small, unnoticed moments. These are the triumphs that prove inner strength. This is why God says congratulations, because survival itself is a sacred act. It is proof that your spirit is durable, that your character is unbroken, that your resolve remains intact. Understand that survival is not a passive act. It is active. It is deliberate. It demands attention, awareness, and effort. To survive without awareness is mere existence. To survive with consciousness is mastery. You have mastered this year, not because the year was easy, but because you refused to be undone by its challenges. You refused to be a passive victim. You engaged with life fully, even when engagement required courage beyond comfort. Survival, in its deepest sense, is not merely moving forward. It is moving forward with integrity, with purpose, with alignment to the highest version of self. Every time you confronted adversity instead of fleeing, you trained your spirit. Every time you held on when letting go was tempting, you strengthened resolve. Every time you persevered when others would have surrendered, you became proof that resilience is more powerful than circumstance. And this is the true meaning of survival. It is not merely living. It is thriving despite hardship. It is flourishing not because conditions were perfect, but because your inner foundation was strong enough to support progress in imperfect conditions. The year may have attempted to bend you, but your survival proves you cannot be broken. Reflect on the inner conversations that guided you this year. Think of the doubts you overcame, the fears you faced, the discouragements you transformed into motivation. These internal battles are often invisible to others, yet they are the most significant. A battle fought externally without inner victory is hollow. True victory is rooted in the mind and heart. Survival is proof that you won countless unseen battles. That is the strength that God honors. That is the strength that no circumstance, no challenge, no opinion, no noise can ever erase. The last day of the year, the final moment, is a sacred space to honor survival. It is not a day to erase struggle or pretend that life was effortless. It is not a day to compare or compete. It is a day to recognize the courage it took to endure. It is a day to sit quietly and acknowledge that your spirit, despite trials, remains standing. This recognition is important because often people survive yet fail to honor themselves. They move on without pausing. They overlook the significance of having endured. But awareness of survival is a seed. It grows into confidence, wisdom, and power. It allows you to step into the new year not with fear, not with doubt, but with the certainty that you have already faced storms and emerged alive, stronger, and wiser. Remember, survival is also an act of faith. Faith in your capacity to endure. Faith in the unseen forces that guide life. Faith that effort, integrity, and courage matter. Faith that tomorrow, while unpredictable, will be faced with the same resilience you have shown today. Survival without faith is merely endurance. Survival with faith transforms endurance into triumph. And triumph is what the divine acknowledges. God says congratulations not for ease, not for success alone, but for the courage, discipline, and faith that allowed you to survive fully, wholly, courageously. As the final hours of the year pass, reflect. Feel the weight you have carried. Feel the resilience you have built. Feel the inner fortress that has protected your spirit from collapse. This is proof of inner strength, proof that no matter what the future brings, you are equipped to meet it. You have survived. And survival is not the end, it is the foundation. It is the bedrock upon which every future success, every future joy, every future triumph will be built. You have survived. And that is the first victory of the new year. Stillness is a misunderstood concept in the modern world. Most people associate power with movement, with action, with noise, with visibility. But true power often begins in silence. Stillness is not weakness. Stillness is preparation. Stillness is awareness. If you are alive on this final day of 2025, take a moment and understand before you advance into the next year, before you take action, before you make promises or resolutions, stillness is required. Life demands it. God demands it. The universe rewards it. Without stillness, movement is reckless. Without stillness, action is unrefined. Without stillness, you step forward carrying the weight of distractions, fears, doubts, and unexamined patterns. And this weight determines your trajectory in ways you cannot yet imagine. Most people rush into the new year as though it is merely a continuation of the old. They do not pause. They do not reflect. They do not ground themselves. They jump into motion, believing action alone will create results. Yet movement without stillness is like a bowstring pulled too quickly, snapping before it releases the arrow accurately. The energy is wasted. The potential is misdirected. Advancement without preparation leads to repetition of mistakes, unresolved challenges, and wasted effort. Stillness is the alignment of mind, body, and spirit. It is the act of centering oneself so that the first step forward is deliberate, precise, and filled with purpose. Consider the way nature moves. The river does not rush recklessly over every stone. It flows with purpose, bending, pausing, reflecting the landscape. The tree does not grow erratically. It stands firm, absorbing sunlight, reaching root and branch in measured patience. Even the seasons, the very rhythm of life, balance stillness and movement. Winter may appear dormant, but beneath the surface, roots strengthen, sap flows slowly, life prepares. And when spring arrives, growth is precise, effective, unstoppable. Human life is no different. Advancement without prior stillness is like skipping winter. It seems fast, but it lacks depth, strength, and alignment. True power lies in pausing, centering, and preparing. Stillness is also a test. It tests patience. It tests discipline. It tests humility. When you pause, the mind complains. It says, "Move now! Don't waste time!" Act. But the wise know that this inner voice is often the voice of impatience, ego, and distraction. To remain still in these moments is to exercise mastery over the mind. To remain present, breathing, observing, and listening is to cultivate a clarity that cannot exist in haste. Without stillness, decisions are reactive. With stillness, decisions are deliberate. The warrior, the disciplined student, the person of vision understands this truth intuitively. Stillness before advancement multiplies effectiveness 100-fold. The year 2025 has brought trials, tests, and lessons. You may feel exhausted, overwhelmed, even lost. Yet stillness offers a different perspective. It allows you to observe your life not through panic or frustration, but through awareness. In the silence, patterns emerge, habits reveal themselves, hidden truths appear. Relationships, choices, actions, all are laid bare. Stillness is a mirror. It reflects not only the surface, but also the depths. The mistakes you have repeated, the strengths you have overlooked, the opportunities you have missed. And in this reflection, the foundation for the next step is constructed. Movement without this reflection is blind. Stillness provides vision. Stillness also refines intention. Intention is the compass of action, but a compass is useless if the traveler does not stop to read it. When you pause, when you still your mind, your heart, your breath, you reconnect with your deepest purpose. You remember what truly matters, what aligns with your values, what resonates with the spirit. Advancement without clarity of intention scatters energy. Advancement with stillness owns power. One deliberate step can achieve more than 1,000 reckless motions. That is the quiet majesty of stillness. It multiplies results without effort. It conserves energy without laziness. It strengthens the soul without struggle. There is also a spiritual dimension to stillness. The external world moves relentlessly, pulling attention in every direction, urging distraction, demanding response. Yet within stillness, the soul speaks. The divine whispers. Wisdom surfaces. The truth that is often drowned in noise becomes audible. If you are awake on this final day of the year, stillness is your channel to hear the guidance that time itself offers. The universe rewards those who pause with insight. Advancement without insight is wandering. Advancement guided by stillness is mastery. Consider how this principle applies in practical life. All the challenges, the fears, the uncertainties you have faced, how often were decisions rushed, actions hasty, energy misdirected? And what were the consequences? Now consider the possibility of pausing, observing, learning, centering, and then moving. How much more effective, precise, and powerful could each step have been? Stillness does not delay life, it empowers life. It does not prevent action, it enhances action. It does not weaken the spirit, it strengthens it beyond what effort alone can achieve. Stillness also teaches humility. When you pause, you confront your limitations. You confront the illusions of control. You confront the truths you have avoided. You confront your fears and weaknesses without distraction. And this confrontation is necessary. Only when you understand your true starting point can you advance meaningfully. Those who ignore stillness often overestimate their capacity and underestimate challenges. Those who embrace stillness see clearly, act wisely, and progress powerfully. There is a physical dimension as well. The body and mind are connected. Rushing forward when exhausted, when tense, when scattered, diminishes the effectiveness of every action. Pause, breathe, center. Let your body recalibrate. Let your mind organize. Let your heart synchronize with your values and intentions. This alignment is the foundation of power. Every step taken in calm, deliberate stillness carries more force than 1,000 steps taken in chaos. Stillness before advancement also strengthens resilience. Life is unpredictable. Obstacles will arise. Challenges will appear. Pressure will mount. Those who have cultivated stillness know how to respond. They do not panic. They do not overact. They adjust. They adapt. They move with strategy, not impulse. Power is not merely in action. It is in controlled, intentional, precise action, born from preparation, born from reflection, born from the quiet moments when the world seemed impatient and you remained steadfast. On a 31st of December, this principle becomes urgent. The threshold between the old year and the new is sacred. If you rush forward without stillness, you carry forward the unresolved, the unexamined, the chaotic. You repeat old mistakes. You squander potential. You weaken yourself before the journey even begins. But if you pause, breathe, reflect, and center, you step forward with purpose. You step forward aligned. You step forward powerful. Every action that follows flows from this preparation. Every decision, every choice, every effort becomes more precise, more effective, more meaningful. Stillness is the prelude to excellence. Remember, the world may measure success by speed, visibility, and noise, but the universe and the divine measure success by awareness, alignment, and intentionality. Stillness cultivates these qualities. Stillness reveals the gaps in knowledge, the weaknesses in strategy, the opportunities for growth. Stillness preserves energy. Stillness multiplies power. And stillness, when practiced consistently, transforms ordinary movement into extraordinary results. The warrior knows this. The wise know this. And now, at the closing of 2025, you are invited to know it too. As the hours tick by on this final day, take the time to sit quietly. Observe yourself. Observe your life. Observe your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions. Recognize the lessons of the past year. Recognize the moments of growth. Recognize the moments where stillness was absent and how it affected your actions. Do not judge. Simply observe. And then, in this clarity, step forward. Step forward with precision. Step forward with awareness. Step forward with power. The movement you make from this stillness will be more profound than anything you could achieve in haste. Stillness is not inactivity. It is preparation. It is refinement. It is alignment. It is the foundation of power. It is the secret force behind every great achievement. Those who understand stillness before advancement harness energy that others waste. They move with certainty while others stumble. They act with intention while others rush. They create with precision while others scatter effort. On this sacred day, the lesson is clear. Pause, reflect, center, breathe. Let the final day of the year refine you. Let stillness guide your next steps. Let your actions in the new year emerge from a place of mastery, not chaos. Stillness before advancement is not merely advice. It is law. It is power. It is the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. And now, you know.